Hey everybody, so because it's the holiday season, I'm going to do my continued shout out to the Animal Rescue League of Boston. This is a great organization that does so much for homeless pets, dogs, cats, and various other critters. So I'm going to leave a link to their website in the comments down below. Please go visit their website. If you can donate, please do. If you can't, that's fine. Just share the link. Let's try to see if we can do some good for homeless pets this holiday season.
Watch it, Alan. I'm shooting.
Blacula.
Hi, what do you have?
Make it a Bloody Mary.
How's it going, everybody? Say hello to Kevin and Axel. I'm at their house for a few days, so I had to make a video here. Please forgive the snoring pug that is sitting next to me. You're going to be hearing a snoring pug throughout this video, so I apologize to that. But, hey, let's get into the video. So, we have the new Nosferatu movie coming out on Christmas Day, which you know what that means. It means that vampires are officially Christmas-related. In all seriousness, I love the original Nosferatu from 1922, and I'm looking forward to the new Nosferatu by Robert Eggers coming out very soon. This video is officially dated. Now, Nosferatu was an unofficial adaptation of the book Dracula by Bram Stoker, and with the new movie coming out, I, in my own inappropriate way, wanted to celebrate the releasing of the new Nosferatu movie by talking about a Blaxploitation film that I love. I just wanted to talk about Blacula, and I thought it would be funny to talk about this movie with the new Robert Eggers Nosferatu coming out, but still, Blacula is a very good Blaxploitation movie and a very good vampire movie. And it's also very important to film history. The movie begins in 1780. We follow an African prince named Mamuwalde and his wife Luva. They arrive at Castle Dracula and they're intending to talk with the Count to see if they can end the slave trade in Africa. But of course, this is Dracula we're talking about, so he's an evil son of a bitch. Of course he is. He's Dracula. He's the Prince of Darkness. Just ask Hammer. So instead of talking with the prince, Dracula decides to turn Mamuwalde into a vampire. His idea is to trap Mamuwalde in his coffin so he will be forced to suffer for eternity with his new vampiric thirst. And his wife is buried alive with him, so she is forced to listen to the love of her life suffer. And Dracula has a good name for this new vampire.
I curse you with my name. You shall be Blacula, vampire.
Flash forward to present day 1972. Dracula is now dead and gone. A couple of antique dealers have collected a bunch of goods from Dracula's house and brought them over to Los Angeles. In the process, they end up freeing Mamuwalde, aka Blacula, and he now roams the streets of LA, feeding on people and turning them into vampires. At the same time, he meets this young woman named Tina, who bears a striking resemblance to his dead wife. We all know where this is going.
Luva? Luva?
Let go!
It's me. Wait!
Blacula is a fun, suspenseful, and highly entertaining entry in the Blaxploitation genre and vampire genre. There is a campiness to the film, but everyone involved, from the director William Crain to the actors, take the subject matter seriously. Yes, there are fun moments throughout the film, but It is also a serious vampire movie with plenty of suspense sprinkled throughout. Yes, there is fun cheesiness sprinkled throughout, but it still works as a suspenseful horror movie. I like how the character of Dracula is a character in this movie, but his movies also exist in this universe. So you have the legend of Dracula, and you have the fictionalized version of Dracula that exists in the world of this movie.
Count Dracula was no legend. He was terribly real.
Oh, I know. I've seen all of his movies. I'm a real fan. Don't shock the poor man, baby.
Now, this is a Blaxploitation movie. The Blaxploitation film movement began in 1971 with the success of movies like Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song and Shaft. It's also important to acknowledge Cotton Comes to Harlem, which came out in 1970, which was a Blaxploitation movie that came out before Sweet Sweetback and Shaft, but sadly it was not as commercially successful. So, Sweet Sweetback and Shaft, those are the movies that officially ignited the Blaxploitation movement. But anyway, with the success of Sweet Sweetback and Shaft, there were then a slew of movies that gave black audiences films to watch and characters to root for. Blacula is the first horror movie of the Blaxploitation genre, which then led to more horror movies for black audiences. Sugar Hill, JD's Revenge, Ganja and Hess, just to name a few. Movies like Candyman and Get Out owe so much to Blacula.
Dr. Thomas! Dr. Thomas! You and your dear friends are dead! Not one man shall escape my vengeance! Not one man shall leave here alive!
William Marshall plays Blacula. The only thing silly about this character is his name. William Marshall handles the role with this dignified intensity, which is something you want from a Dracula-esque character. You want the character to be suave, smooth, and in control until they eventually release the monster.
Now listen, you take your hands off of me. I don't know you.
But it's important to recognize that Mamawalde is not just a parody of Dracula. He's his own character. And yes, while there are similarities to Dracula, Blacula is not Dracula.
What do you think of vampires?
Vampires? I think they're possibly the most fascinating of all.
Do you, believe they exist?
That goes for the whole movie. This is not just another Dracula movie. Michelle is not Lucy. Tina is not Mina. Dr. Gordon Thomas, while the Van Helsing character for the film, is not Van Helsing. The movie does a good job at paying tribute to Dracula, while not just being another Dracula flick. It mixes 1970s Blaxploitation crime thrillers with a Dracula movie, thus making it its own thing.
Mommy! No.
Blacula does have its cheesier moments, but it works with the film. It's fun to watch, but it is a serious horror movie. There are plenty of suspenseful moments, some good kills, and even a couple decent jump scares. This is one of those 1970s PG movies which would basically just be PG-13 today. So, while the kills aren't gory, they're still effective. And you have these people who are turned into Blacula's vampire servants. They do serve as a good threat when we get to them in the third act. There's never a boring moment in the film, but there is a good build-up to the vampire horde, which leads to a good attack sequence. You have two of our protagonists having to fight off this gang of vampires, and it's very well done. We get some good quality fire stunts here. For me, fire stunts are always impressive, no matter how big or low the budget of the film is. Now, the character Blacula is great, and he does steal the whole show. I mean, that's what we want for this kind of movie. The side characters are very good, but I really appreciate the character of Dr. Gordon Thalmus. He's our Van Helsing for the film, and I love how he approaches this situation. Gordon is helping the police with the investigation. He's a doctor, and he's, examining the bodies as they start piling up. But as things go along, he has his suspicions that there are vampire shenanigans going on. But he doesn't just outright tell the police, hey, we got vampires running around the city. He looks for evidence first, and he tries to get the proof. Then he tells the police what's going on, which is very refreshing to me.
You better tell Peters.
Telling him won't work. No, we gotta show him somehow.
In so many supernatural horror movies, when our main characters know that there's a supernatural threat, they just go and tell the authorities and everybody thinks they're crazy. Yes, we know that the supernatural threat is real, we the audience, but at certain points in the movie there's no reason for other people to think that there's something supernatural going on, so when the characters say, hey, there's something supernatural going on, they just look crazy, and it makes things so much more difficult for them. It can be frustrating for the audience, because yes, we know that the supernatural threat is real, but because no one else has any reason to believe the main characters, it just can get kind of grating after a while. But that's not how Gordon does it in Blacula. He suspects that there's a vampire running around, but he finds the evidence first. He finds the proof first. And then he tells the cops, hey, this is what's going on. He gets the proof for the cops first, so they have no choice but to believe him when he tells them.
That's what I couldn't tell you about. That's why you had to see it for yourself. I wouldn't have believed it.
If you're a fan of vampire movies, and particularly Dracula movies, I would recommend checking out Blacula. But remember, Blacula is his own man. It has so much that makes Blaxploitation movies fun, and so much that makes vampire movies fun. Not only that, but it's very important to horror movie history. If you're a fan of movies like Candyman or Jordan Peele's movies, then I think you will appreciate Blacula. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of about 25, give or take, but that includes people who died and came back to life. The kills consist of blood drinking, stakes to the heart, and being set on fire. It reaches the vampire requirements with blood drinking, death by sunlight, and plenty of shots of fangs. The movie is that good 1970s PG. Basically PG-13. Not a ton of gore, but some good bloodshed. The movie works as both a Blaxploitation flick and a vampire flick. Best of both worlds. William Marshall is fantastic as Mamawalde. He has both the dignity and ferocity that you want in a Dracula-esque character. The side characters are very good. They keep the movie entertaining between the vampire action. Dr. Gordon Thalmus is a good Van Helsing replacement. I love how he tries to get proof first before telling people that there's a vampire threat. The third act is both fun and suspenseful. This movie is so important to horror history. We would not have movies like Candyman or Get Out without this one. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5, mostly for its historical importance. Fans of Dracula movies and Blaxploitation should check this one out. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please go visit the Animal Rescue League of Boston's website, the link is in the comments below, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know your favorite Dracula movie. For me, it's very close between the original Nosferatu and Horrors of Dracula. This is the Maniac and Kevin here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. Look at this pug. He matches my shirt, so you might not be able to see him.